was the debonair Frenchman who became a matinee idol in America after first establishing himself in his own home country. Overflowing with sophistication and charm, he broke the hearts of women everywhere with his handsome good looks and classic speaking voice. But a successful career in movies and television could not keep him from a tragic, untimely end. He is the one and only Charles Boyer. The future heartthrob was born on August 28, 1897 in Figeac, France. He studied philosophy and drama, then went to Paris where he made both his stage and film debut in 1920. He quickly became one of France's top actors and a favorite of the ladies, so he moved to America in 1929 to try to make his fortune in Hollywood. Unsuccessful, he returned to Europe, only to come back to the States in 1934, this time to stay. Eventually becoming an American citizen, Boyer was a hit this time around and quickly became one of Hollywood's great lovers. In 1937, he was cast as Napoleon opposite the one and only Greta Garbo for the period romance Conquest. Garbo played Countess Waleska, sent to beg the French Emperor's help in making Poland independent.
What sacrifice for Poland can we make with honor, gentlemen, that we've not already made, that our sons and grandsons have not already made?
Are you suggesting that I can succeed while the Polish legions have failed?
Perhaps you have been made beautiful, that Poland might be made free. You are a woman. Napoleon is, after all, only a man.
You've made me woo you. All week. A week of ours that might have been filled with happiness for us both. You are the only woman whose favor I have ever begged for. I love you, Mary. The crown would not be unbecoming on that lovely head.
I want no other crown than your loving me.
I wish mine were as lasting as yours.
I cannot modify my entire policy to suit your feelings.
Power has conquered you.
I was a fool to expect understanding from a woman. You will see. Russia will see. England will see. Whether I am the slave of power or its master.
The two carry on a torrid love affair, but after the Countess gives birth to Napoleon's son, she is cruelly discarded.
Goodbye, Mary. You gave greatly for so little.
You have given me much more than love, Napoleon Bonaparte. You touched me and gave me life. You lifted me up. The whole world went away from me. I will never know that little world again.
The two actors lit up the screen, and Boyer received an Oscar nomination for his work. He was then quickly cast in the American remake of Pepe Le Moco. Called Algiers, it featured the handsome star as a notorious criminal hiding out in the Casbah. He successfully eludes police official Joseph Calleja until his love for Hedy Lamarr finally trips him up. Boyer was again nominated for the Best Actor Oscar, but did not win. 1939's love affair continued to boost the star's appeal as a romantic idol.
Oh, that's too bad.
Teamed with Irene Dunne, the two play shipboard travelers who realize their fling is developing into a serious relationship.
Looks like stormy weather ahead.
Change our course today. I want to thank you for a lovely evening.
I want to thank you for what was undoubtedly the loveliest day I've ever known.
You've been very sweet to my little grandmother.
I'm going to write to her.
Oh, that'll be nice. Well, good night.
We're heading into a rough sea, Michelle. Good night.
Goodbye.
The problem is that each is engaged to someone else.
I've written out these directions. Read them carefully so there won't be any mistake.
Darling, that's me. July 1st, 5 o'clock, 102nd floor, top of the Empire State Building.
Yes. That's it right there. It's the tallest building in the world. You can't miss that. It's the nearest thing to heaven we have in New York.
But when the two plan to meet again at the top of the Empire State Building, tragedy strikes.
They are.
What's the rush?
I'm going to be married, and I'd like you to be the first to congratulate me. Thank you so much.
Love Affair was a huge hit. Audiences just couldn't get enough of their favorite Frenchman.
Lots of stars out tonight, King. Perhaps they're telling us something. I think we should listen.
Flesh and Fantasy was a change of pace for the actor, and he worked behind the scenes as producer to bring the project to fruition.
I had a dream, too, on the boat. Oh, not while I was asleep. Maybe it will come true.
If you want it to, it will.
An anthology of ghostly stories, the film's final chapter featured Charles as a circus aerialist who falls in love with jewel thief Barbara Stanley. But a dream portends that he is to fall to his death should she see one of his performances. For the 1944 thriller Gaslight, Boyer was once again Oscar-nominated as he applied his good looks and charm to a rare villainous role.
It was written 2 days before she was murdered.
He played the seemingly innocent husband of Ingrid Bergman, who is slowly driving his wife mad in order to search for a hidden fortune.
He said I wasn't any liquor. He said I was going out of my mind.
You're not going out of your mind. You're slowly and systematically being driven out of your mind.
But why? Why? Oh, that's wonderful.
And you thought I was being cruel to you. Keeping people away
not
from
cruel.
you. Making you a prisoner.
Oh, you're the kindest man in the world. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I were not mad, I could have helped you. Whatever you had done, I could have pitied and protected you. But because I am mad, I hate you. Because I am mad, I betrayed you. And because I am mad, I'm rejoicing in my heart without a shred of pity, without a shred of regret. Watching you go with glory in my heart.
A fondly remembered flick, the term gaslighting has come to be synonymous with making someone crazy. Charles Boyer and Irene Dunn were together again for a comedy titled, aptly enough, Together Again. Dunn is the widowed mayor of a small Vermont town who can't get her dead spouse out of her mind. When a statue of her husband is damaged, she travels to New York to hire a sculptor. Since Boyer is playing the artist, romance naturally ensues.
I'm a widow.
Excellent reason for getting married.
I'm a mother.
Since when is motherhood an argument against marriage?
I'm a mayor. Why not act like one?
The Lady Mayor has a daughter and a rival.
Oh, Mother, he's just so wonderful. Oh, Mr. Corday. Well, I guess I'll have to get used to calling him George if I'm going to marry him. If what?
Daughter has a beau who finds her mother quite irresistible.
Darling, what's the matter?
I think I'm engaged to Gilbert.
Oh.
Charles was the confidential agent in the 1945 spy thriller of the same name. Lauren Bacall co-starred as a member of the English aristocracy who falls for Boyer, but she was ultimately miscast.
I told you I'm not a good person to know.
What kind of a man are you?
Critics did not care for this Warner Brothers pick, but Charles was singled out as giving a fine performance.
My poor, helpless pigeon.
Take care, Gaspari.
As the 50s hit, Boyer's career underwent something of a metamorphosis.
That was the wrong way to win a woman. The approach was not right. You see, one must lead up to the moment, gently, and then it is given. Love, I mean, being the awakening of a natural appetite. A very hard appetite to satisfy, believe me. You don't know this yet? Oh, then you must see the happy time and learn what happens in my family when I tell my young son the facts of life.
The charming comedy The Happy Time, about a 12-year-old boy and his French-Canadian family, gave Charles one of his last starring roles as the child's father.
Susan, wait. Well, Bibi. What does Bibi have to do with this?
He's growing up. He can't watch these men do the things they do around here and not be affected.
Darling, these men are not evil. One drinks, another is young and looks for girls. Another is old and looks for girls.
When a man's on the verge of that well-known urge,
Desmond, it is very late.
there comes a time when every boy finds out what the birds and the bees knew all the time.
When The Cobweb was published, one of the compliments from critics which meant the most to me said, "This is a book about people who are almost too real to be in a book." This, of course, is how I felt about them, and therefore it's both a relief and a great pleasure to be able to say that MGM has assembled an extraordinary cast of gifted actors to recreate these people. May I introduce them to you as they appear in the picture.
Though he continued working on the big screen, Boyer would now be found mostly in supporting and character parts.
Charles Boyer.
But even these appearances sometimes allowed him to play with his image as a great screen lover. For example, his secondary role in The Cobweb, a drama centering around a large psychiatric clinic, found him as a doctor who just can't get enough amore.
Here we are, both searching for something, hoping for something.
I hate to break into your little dream, Karen, but you're not exactly a unique event in Dr. Devenant's life. It happens with every woman he meets.
Boyer's new Hollywood standing didn't stop him from being a regular presence at charity events or movie premieres. He also branched out into the new medium of television and appeared on the 4-Star Playhouse among fellow big screen actors David Niven, Dick Powell, and Ida Lupino.
Charles Boyer and Ida Lupino.
My dear Leonora, allow me to make an observation. You are, without any doubt, the most ravishing creature in the whole world. What are you doing married to me?
You're a very handsome husband, George. And you're gentle. You'll make a wonderful father.
What a lovely thought. I'd like nothing better. In time.
Each week, a different movie star would headline a half-hour drama, and Boyer starred in his share of episodes, including this one called The Wild Bunch, which, despite its title, is not a Western.
Oh, of course, children. David, Carlotta, Louise, your father.
Well, I don't think...
Now, everybody kiss everybody.
Leonora, you think
Kiss
everything...
Pete! Oh, David, you're completely impossible.
Charles was part of an all-star cast having a grand old time in the Oscar-winning Around the World in 80 Days. Back in Europe, Boyer was still a major star, and he frequently returned to the continent to make movies there.
On the QT, you haven't seen anything yet. Bibi goes places as the Parisienne cutie with the world's most piquant personality. A dream walking right into trouble. felt falling in love. This time with the playboy prince who knows his way around.
The French-Italian co-production La Parisienne was one such film, teaming the actor with phenomenal beauty Brigitte Bardot.
Commence firing!
Back in America, Charles was cast in a supporting role in the historical drama The Buccaneer. Starring Yul Brynner as Jean Lafitte and Charlton Heston as Andrew Jackson, the production was originally supposed to have been helmed by Cecil B. DeMille, but his then son-in-law Anthony Quinn took over when the famed director fell ill.
We are authorized by the Crown to pay you $30,000 in gold.
You realize who you are dealing with? Why, the ships of Jean Lafitte comb the waters of the world. 100 captains obey his commands.
Charles Boyer never did win an Academy Award, but he was nominated for Best Actor one last time in 1961. Fanny was based on French director Marcel Pagnol's Marseille trilogy, telling the story of the title girl, the older gentleman she marries, and the young man she truly loves. This version starred Leslie Caron as the beautiful maid, with Boyer playing César, the grandfather of Fanny's true love.
Not my mother's decision, it's mine.
Well, it's my decision that this marriage will not take place. You're a mad dog, and you ought to be shot. This is the gun. Shoot!
Put that gun down.
Baby.
Bernice!
No!
Adorable Julia cast the actor as husband to Lily Palmer, a famous but faded actress. Tired of life with her boring but tolerant spouse, Palmer has a fling with a younger man, played by Jean Sorel.
He's young enough to be her son's friend, and old enough to be her, It started with just an invitation for a friendly cup of tea. You see, he has this room at the top he wanted to show her. Then suddenly, everything went black. Where was she? Oh, yes, there.
Critics, however, found Sorel to be wooden and dull, and they wondered why Palmer would choose him over the still handsome Boyer. Charles next found himself part of an all-star cast in Vincent Minnelli's World War II drama, Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. He played the spineless father of playboy Glenn Ford, afraid to acknowledge the Nazis as a threat to the world.
And Marcelo, Julio's father, ran from one war only to be caught by another.
No man really loves life who is unwilling to die for it. Go to England, go anywhere you can to fight them. Only act in the name of God. Please, do what I never did.
Ford and Boyer re-teamed for Love is a Ball, a comedy filmed on location in the French Riviera. Charles was a matchmaker trying to hook up beautiful Hope Lang with dashing Ricardo Montalban. But when he hires Ford to be Lang's chauffeur, the girl falls for this new man instead. Boyer rounded out the 60s by taking small roles in big productions.
I'm still vitally interested in the Cellini Venus. Hot or cold? You know what I mean by that?
Leland, do you know what you're saying? You're compounding a felony, offering to become a receiver of stolen goods.
He supported Audrey Hepburn and Peter O'Toole in the romantic heist comedy How to Steal a Million, directed by William Wyler. He also joined a stellar cast for the World War II drama Is Paris Burning?
Everybody knew, of course, more or less about that Hitler wanted Paris to be blown up, but at the same time, the authors of that book took the trouble to see every single individual what to do on the last days of the liberation of Paris, so it is a fascinating book.
The film focused on the liberation of Paris in 1944 and featured such stars as Jean-Paul Belmondo, Kirk Douglas, Glenn Ford, and Anthony Perkins. Another incredible cast was assembled for, but wasted in, the failed James Bond spoof Casino Royale.
Casino Royale is too much for one James Bond.
Boyer was just one of many making a cameo in this debacle, which subscribed to the view that more is better by throwing everything but the kitchen sink into its inane plot. At least Barefoot in the Park offered Charles a better role in a more respected picture. The screenplay was Neil Simon's first.
Did you miss me today?
No.
Why not?
Because you called me 8 times. I don't talk to you that much when I'm home.
It dealt with a young married couple, played by Robert Redford and Jane Fonda, who live in a Greenwich Village apartment. Boyer is their neighbor, an older gentleman with a reputation for being a ladies' man. Talk about typecasting. In 1973, the actor appeared in the musical remake of Frank Capra's fantasy Lost Horizon. Starring Peter Finch and Liv Ullmann, the film featured Charles as the High Lama of Shangri-La. But critics and audiences alike simply laughed at this atrocious dud, which has gone down in the books as one of filmdom's most famous bombs. Boyer's final picture, A Matter of Time, brought him back under the direction of Vincent Minnelli. In this light-hearted tale, the director's daughter, Liza, played a movie star reminiscing about how her career began years earlier in Rome. Ingrid Bergman co-starred as the Contessa, who regales the youngster with stories from her own past.
Here we are still quarreling, but it's all so unimportant anymore.
What you are and what you've lived, that's something magical. Please don't give up your memories. I mean, for your sake as well as for mine. Oh, Contessa, I feel like I'm a part of them now.
There's a hope in me. I can finally feel it stir.
Despite the talent involved, the movie was another box office flop.
Half as dearly as I love her.
Unfortunately, Charles Boyer would not make another film to properly culminate his distinguished career. 2 days after his wife died in 1978, and 2 days before his own 81st birthday, Boyer took his own life with an overdose of barbiturates. The star had survived for decades in the industry, making a name for himself first in France, then in America, as one of the screen's greatest lovers. But when he grew too old for these roles, the matinee idol reinvented himself as a reliable character actor. Though his life ended tragically, he left behind an impressive body of work on both screen and television, and a sterling reputation as a humanitarian and hero. Hollywood will always remember Charles Boyer.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of 4-Star Playhouse and all the members of the Sing organization, thank you for being with us this evening. We hope that you enjoyed our play, and we hope that you'll be with us again next week. Good night.